everyone, Bernard here, and welcome again to the Citizen channel. You've been here before. If you've not been here before, welcome. Where have you been? Please, welcome to the Citizen channel. And today we have a city past one, don't we? We have one of our little horrible histories things. I'm not ashamed of anything where City have perhaps been part of a giant killing act. Well, we've obviously not been the giant. We've been the giant. Sorry, not been the giant. We've been the giant, haven't we? Even though, obviously, even when we're in the third division, I think we were still a giant, weren't we? And it was a big scalp for teams to beat us. Yeah, well, it's horrible. So I do these little horrible histories, things where perhaps we were a little bit unlucky in certain games, and people forget that. You know, you need a little bit of luck in matches, in cups, certainly. And this is what we're going to have a look at today. We're going to have a look at the 16th of February 1991. And we travel back to Meadow Lane. There you go, Meadow Lane. Obviously, poor old Notts County no longer, as I'm recording this, a Football League club. There's always a chance they'll get back in. They're only in the next tier down, I think, aren't they? So, yeah, we're going to go back to 16th of February 1991. It was a time, as long as we had a favourable draw in the fifth round. If we got to the fifth round, we were dreaming of Wembley. Yeah, it didn't happen. Obviously, it was 81 was the last time before this one that we'd got there. But we all started dreaming of Wembley when we got to the sort of fifth round and hoped for a good draw, didn't we? So, yeah, we're going to talk about a game against Notts County today. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, please push that subscribe on, push the bell notifications so you know these little vlogs are coming out. And also, you'll notice on the playlist, as well as all the city stuff, I have a little film and TV channel as well. So if that's of any interest to you, please have a look at that. Or someone you might know might be interested, point them in my direction. That'd be fantastic. And there's some links on the screen as well for Facebook and Twitter. So if you give us a follow or a friend on there, I do check every couple of days and follow and friend everyone back. Anyway, let's get back onto the football, eh? Yeah, I mean, obviously this is the programme from the game. The Magpies, yeah, not the Newcastle Magpies, the Notts County Magpies, FA Cup fifth round, obviously just across the river from Nottingham Forest ground, isn't it? I love it when they show we watch cricket at Trent Bridge and they always show the two grounds near each other. I quite like that. I like the older grounds as well. It's nice to see. Yeah, so there you go. A trip to the oldest Football League club was our task, wasn't it? A trip to Meadow Lane. And today we're going to do a little watch along as well. So obviously if you've got the availability to open another window, or you've got a couple of pieces of equipment, you've got a phone or a laptop or something like that, you can do the watch along with me, or you can listen to my little commentary and then obviously pick up on the game later on. Watch the highlights later on. There will be links on the screen, etc. Yeah. City had already won through 2 away ties, so this is why our confidence was bubbling. We had a Hendry goal that gave us a 1-0 win at Burnley, and Quinn and Allen scored a 2-1 win over the mighty Port Vale. We used to get some tough draws in those days. I'm just doing this as we constantly get sort of. We've just drawn Cheltenham. Just tell you what I'm doing. This just drawn Cheltenham in the FA Cup, so obviously you'll get an idea of when I'm recording this. So yes, and all the usual furore from the opposing fans. Well, no one used to whinge in the old days when we used to draw Burnley and Port Vale away. No one used to bat an eyelid then because we never got to any finals. Yeah, so I think we're all happy as fans. We're certainly happy with that draw. City were in the top half of the division. We do quite well that season. Obviously, Peter Reid was the player manager at that stage. And Notts County themselves, there'd been no pushovers. They were doing really well. I think they were 4th in the second division at the time. And they would actually gain promotion that season through the playoffs. So obviously they would join us up in the top division, obviously. And of course, they were managed by a young-looking, up-and-coming manager. Yeah, a gentleman called Mr. Neil Warnock. Okay, there you go. He was all young then. So he had his own column in the match programme, in the Notts County match programme, entitled Warnocking, which was, all right, yeah, quite. I don't even know that's clever or just stupid. I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. City's lineup that day didn't feature Peter Reid. I think if you do listen back to the commentary, obviously if you mute it, well, I'm doing my waffle over it. But Peter Reid's just coming back from injury, so he didn't pick himself for that game, even though he's sort of fit. And if you look at the pitch and the conditions, obviously this game was in big danger of being called off. I mean, they actually cleared loads of snow off it. You'll see the snow in the highlights if you watch the highlights. So Peter Reid was sort of still recovering, so he didn't want to test himself, certainly on an awful pitch, let's face it. I mean, in those days, if he had a reasonably good team, which we did, that liked to play the ball and on the floor, it wasn't the greatest for pitches for that sort of football. So our team that day was Colton, Ian Brightwell, Neil Poynton, Harper, Hendry, Redmond, White, Allen, Quinn, Megson and Ward. So not a bad team. Obviously, there's no one particularly in the Notts County team. I know you'll see it on the playback anyway. But obviously, there's three guys: Turner, Bartlett, and Cherry, who are going to come to the fore in the game. Cherry, the goalkeeper, and a crowd of 18,979 watched this game. So yeah, we're going to have a look at the highlights now. So as I say, so I'll give you a countdown. So if you get the link ready and just pause me or whatever you want to do, it's only 6 minutes plus. So we'll have a quick look at that. And just see from our point of view, from a City fan's point of view, we don't listen to the commentator on there, do we? But if you're unable to do the watch along, I'll just have a listen to what I'm going to do now and just catch up with it later on. So I'm just going to switch to my little image of the game on here now. Right, get that up. So I've paused it right at the start. You'll see a big giant panda. There's a big giant panda, and obviously the Notts County players are going to be coming onto the pitch. So I have no idea that obviously the panda must have some connection apart from it being black and white. Hey, but there you go. So we'll get ready right at the start as they're coming out. There's a tunnel there. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll start play. So there you go. It's just come out. Cherry had the ball, then the goalkeeper. Obviously the black and white, a few black and white balloons, not exactly loads of them. So there's City fans in them far two corners, aren't they? If you look at those far two corners of the game, that's where the City fans were congregated. All the City fans were in those two corners. Quite packed there. Yeah, Notts County as a team, as I said, not really many familiar names on that. The City team, obviously, I've just read out. You got Brennan and Heath on the bench as well. So here we go. This is a free kick for City here. Harper and Megson have stood over it, but look who comes zooming up. Yep, there we go. Mr. Ward, what a blast. It looks quite a good save until you look at it from behind, and he's actually just put it literally where the goalkeeper should be anyway. So Mr. Cherry was a little bit lucky there. And here's a great run. This is sort of David White. Look at Ward going into the middle now. He gets a great ball by David White. I'm looking at straight at the keeper. I mean, just straight at Cherry. I mean, he did come out of this very well, this keeper, but I don't think he knew too much about that, in all fairness to him. Here we go, another attack. Mr. Poynton setting it up, and that's Wardy again. And look at this great little touch by Allen. Look, fantastic touch there, nicks it through. But the goalie does well, but then look, the ball comes out, the defender hits it against the post. I mean, what happened there? I mean, it wasn't given as a foul or anything, so I mean, I have no idea what happened with the goalie. He went down at his feet, looked as though he'd saved it comfortably. And then obviously it pops out again and hits the post. And then the defender, actually, rather than putting it in the net, which he could have done, hit the post as well. And this is another free kick across to Redmond. Steve Redmond, look at this for a blast. And again, it doesn't look that bad. And Quinn is there sniffing. That was a good save, the second save from Cherry, with Quinn sniffing there at the back. But just watch it again. I mean, yeah, it was a bit of swerve to it, but come on, Cherry, you could have caught that. And here's the first attack right over the top for County. This is Bartlett. This is their guy Bartlett. And obviously Colton, would he have got that? Have you been on target? I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, but it was some pretty weak finishing from Bartlett there. But it was a bit tormenting all the game. And this is going to be another little City attack here as well. David White knocks it on. Obviously, Wardy picks up and puts it through. And this is like Sterling, isn't it? Look, David White's through. I mean, all right, I forgive him that because of the pitch, but a pretty poor finishing from David White there, to be honest with you. And they get a free kick for something in a minute. I have no idea what for, but there you go. They get a free kick. So, yeah, we did have opportunities, but County did as well. I mean, look at this now in a minute. You'll see County coming out again in a moment. Look at this. We lost it in midfield. Colin Henry's having a mare. He gets left for dead there by Bartlett again. And Bartlett, you know, again, just wide, absolutely useless. I mean, I'm surprised we didn't sign him on, actually, because at least he looked okay at getting out. And there was City fans in the background there, if you notice, looking angry. Here again, Henry's having a nightmare. He dived in there, absolutely nowhere. This is Turner, the captain, just wide of the post. I think Colton probably had that one covered. But that's Turner, who would be involved again later on, to our detriment. To the second half, a good through ball again. Nice little back heel. That was a lovely back heel. Again, that was a Turner with a shot, but straight at Colton that time. So Colton, no problem with that. Even on that pitch, though, they can always be a bit hard. And here we go in the corner. And here we go. Alan never gives up with this one, does he? Look, his legs everywhere are fantastic. And that's obviously, Harper shoots, but then it comes back. Oh, look at that for a blast. Oh, against the bar. And look at Quinny sniffing. And it's the post again. Unbelievable. That was, I think it was Mr. Megson's shot there, blasted it in from distance. Absolute, and that's, sorry, Harper, wasn't it? It wasn't Megson. So, absolutely fantastic. But watch the replay of this in a minute. See how it blasts it in. Look at it. It's the bar. It's the back of his legs. Goes back towards the goal. He doesn't know where he is. He's totally confused. Quinn comes in. Instead of knocking it just in between the posts, he hits the post, then tries to do a back heel, and Cherry grabs it. I mean, unbelievable stuff. And here we go. Oh, dear me. And this is that Turner again. He's a good little play. He beats about 2 or 3 men, but again, good save by Colton that time. He saved really well. I won't have that to say in a few minutes, but a little bit of afters from the county players there. And here we go, Brightwell passes it on to Harp, who passes it back to Brightwell. Across and Allen's going to come and get a head on it, but well over the bar. That didn't really worry. A little bit of a sway at the back from the City fans there, noticed. But it wasn't going to be Clive Allen's day. It wasn't going to be City's day, was it? And here we go into the last couple of minutes. Well, you know, this is the killer punch, isn't it? Again, onto Bartlett. Colton seems to do okay, and then we don't clear it, and there's Mr. Gary Lunn there nips in to just about squeeze it in past the post. It could have easily gone wide, that, but yeah, with about a minute left on the clock, we're 1-0 down, believe it or not. Mr. Cherry celebrating, no wonder after the luck he had during the game. So there we go, we're 1-0 down. But look at it, Colton. I'm sorry, Colton should have been lower down with that. He sort of comes out with his feet. It should have been more his chest getting that. So I think Colton was part of fault there. But obviously after that, it was just chaos, wasn't it? Just hit the wrong person. So yeah, it's a goal. So we're going to see it over and over again. But yeah, I mean, Colton's in the wrong position. He should be down with his chest at the body there. His bad positioning, it allowed it to rebound out. Although he played okay. I mean, Colton was a good goalkeeper, don't get me wrong. Mr. There he is, Mr. Happy there. Well, he's obviously war-knocking there on the touchline. And we do get one more chance from this free kick now. The free kick comes in. I think Redmond's involved in this. Quinn goes up at the back. Cherry totally missed it. Redmond hoofs it up, and Quinn gets a header on it against the bar. That's 4 times we've hit the woodwork. Unbelievable stuff. They got over there's all the snow around the pitch, if you notice. But no wonder Quinn's. He should have had at least a hat trick today, based on what we've seen. But just look at this. Look at Cherry. Look at this wonderful goalkeeper who got the man of the match. Look at him. Oh, I missed the ball. Absolutely useless, that goalkeeper. Kept up by Redmond, and then Quinn literally. He doesn't even have to jump hardly. He just gets it on the way down. If he just waited for it, he could have probably nodded it in. And there you go, the final whistle. It's all over. Obviously, a giant killing act, if you can call second division, a top 4 second division team beating a top half first division team. And that guy there, I have no idea how he got away with that. I'll tell you a little bit more about him in a minute. That Mr. Cherry, but there you go. And that was a bit disappointing, wasn't it, to say the least? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, I mean, we do need a little bit of luck to win cups, don't we? I think that just sort of sums it up there. Yeah, Notts County had chances, but they didn't hit the woodwork 4 times, did they? And we didn't have much luck that day. And you do need a little bit of luck to win, certainly to win cups. All right, you need a little bit of skill and quality to win titles, etc. But there you go. Cherry, of course, in the programme notes before, he'd actually made comment of the 5 previous games. He had actually played City 5 times in cup competitions, being keeper for Walsall and Plymouth, and had let in 19 goals. So there you go. He obviously wasn't as lucky with his Teflon gloves in those games as he was in that game that day, because I thought he was pretty poor, to be honest. He didn't hold anything that was at him. I mean, all right, he did okay, but yeah, he was a poor goalkeeper. I mean, obviously the headlines that day in the papers, emphasis on City hitting the woodwork. We had Blues final hopes sink on wood. Yeah, very clever. Post-mortem, Lunstone City with a last-minute winner. It's agony for Reed. Super Cherry pips sad City. So Super Cherry, I'm sure he probably had some good games, but I wasn't overly impressed. We'll just have a look at the match report from Mr. Peter Gard and see what he says about the game in the Manchester Evening News. Manchester City blew it. FA Cup triumph was there for the taking, of course it was, but it was the underdogs who stole the glory. Notts County came up on the post to snatch victory with a goal from arguably the worst player on the pitch, poor Mr. Lund, but he was slightly better than Cherry. At least Cherry got his body in the way, I suppose. And then thrown in 5th round Meadow Lane side was heading for a replay until transfer-seeking Gary Lund, who didn't even want to be there. He set a dramatic 89th minute equaliser to earn his side a money-spinning quarter-final tie at Tottenham. Yeah, we wouldn't have beat them anyway, would we? Even then, the Blues had a chance to pull the game out of the fire, only for Narquin to head against the bar with a last-minute injury time effort. It was the fourth time the Blues had struck County's framework, and when they were not knocking onwards, City were pounding shots from all angles at Steve Cherry. But the goalkeeper had conceded 19 goals in his two former clubs, denied the rampant Blues, and did a jig of delight when Lund finally broke the deadlock at the other end. Well, it was sort of a jig, more of a little movement, wasn't it? City's Wembley dream was dead, and they had only themselves to blame. Enough chances were created for them to have won by a considerable margin, but Clive, Allen, Quinn, White and Ward were all frustrated by the acrobatics of the at times eccentric Cherry. Having dominated the match for 70 minutes, City fell to pieces when it mattered most and paid the ultimate penalty. Their luck finally ran out in the third successive away tie, yet City were far more on top than they had been at either Burnley or Port Vale. The problem was the old one of failing to kill off the opponents they had by the throat. No change there then. County are a difficult side to play against, with their emphasis on the infamous route one to goal inevitably causing problems. However, City had virtually mastered the home side to such an extent that Tony Coton rarely had a serious shot to save. For while County did create chances, they wasted them with rank bad finishing. The pacey Kevin Bartlett being the chief culprit for the home side, he certainly was. He proved a handful for the Blues back four, where Colin Henry had one of his less impressive performances. Yeah, we'll give the player ratings in a moment. On the other hand, Alan Harper worked hard in midfield with Gary Megson, was desperately unlucky with a cracking 30-yard effort. Yeah, I sort of missed it was him, didn't I, there? And I watched it a couple of times, I forgot. That cannon back off the crossbar with Cherry for once beaten. Alan unfortunately wasted chances that would have confirmed him as the obvious candidate to partner Quinn. Yeah, Allen that was Clive Allen, wasn't it? But then it was not the only guilty man, as City went out at the stage of competition when fans and critics alike were beginning to believe this might just be their year. Yeah, it's not just Liverpool fans who used to say that. We used to say it might be our year, this. I remember. Yeah, the player ratings, so I'll have a quick look at the player ratings of what they got. Yeah, Colton 7. Ian Brightwell 7, Poynton 7. He's very kind, obviously. Mr. Gardner's done these. Harper 8. There you go. Hendry 6, Redmond 7, White 6, Allen 7, Quinn 7, Megson 7, Ward 7. So there's nowhere, it sort of reflects the fact that we were a little bit unlucky. I think those scores. Man of the match, Steve Cherry. I wouldn't have given it to Steve Cherry. I just thought he was lucky, to be honest with you. I'd just say I thought his gloves were sponsored by Teflon most of the time, but there you go. Peter Reid's verdict. So the manager, what did Peter Reid think? It just wasn't our day. We had chances to have won, but didn't say it. Them our quality players failed to put the ball in the net, and if you don't score goals, you are out of the competition. Hey, he's a clever guy, Peter Reid. Their goalkeeper Cherry had an excellent day. Yeah, sort of. I'm being a bit cruel, aren't I? Sometimes goalkeepers can win you cup ties, and this was one of those occasions. Naturally, we're all bitterly disappointed, but I can assure you that we will bounce back from this defeat. Make no mistake about that. Yeah, well, perhaps not. Perhaps who knows? Yeah, so yet again, another false storm for City on the Wembley front. We weren't going to see a trip to Wembley. Notts County, of course, and played wet Spurs and went out away at Spurs 2-1. But then again, it was 1991. There was a 1 in the year, so obviously Spurs were bound to win it anyway, weren't they? Some other results in the FA Cup that day, an interesting one as well here, but some other results. Cambridge United 4, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Portsmouth 1, Tottenham 2. Gascoigne scored there 2 goals. West Ham 1, Crewe 0 with Quinn. That's the other Quinn guy, wasn't it? The big Quinn. And we had a 4th round third replay. Remember replays? Third replay between Leeds and Arsenal. And finally it went Leeds 1, Arsenal 2. Mercer and Dixon for Arsenal. And Leeds was Chapman. So yeah, 4th round third replay. So there you go. And today playing, so I'm not sure. We had Liverpool against Everton. And the 6th round draw on B-Sky B. Remember B-Sky B? There you go. But yeah, that's some other FA Cup things there I thought I'll just share with you. Yeah, of course, as I said, so Spurs would go on to win it. It ended in a 1 the year, didn't it? And that always seemed to be the case. And they beat Notts Forest, of course, of the famous, was it sending off, was it a Gascoigne with very early doors, wasn't it? A 2-1 win. Yeah, we still had a Wembley opportunity though. I mean, I was just looking at this scrapbook there, so we did actually have another chance to get to Wembley in the Simod Cup, a Northern semi-final Zenith Data Systems Zenith Cup or whatever it's Simod Cup, whatever it was called at the time. And obviously, sorry, that's a Notts County one. Yeah, it was. It's on here somewhere. I've got the wrong page now. Yeah, there we go. So obviously, yeah, 2-0 defeat about 3 or 4 days later at Ellen Road. Did you go to that one? I didn't go to that one, I must admit, but ZDS Cup or whatever it's called, I got confused with whatever it's called, I can't even see. Yeah, ZDS Cup Northern semi-final. Nearly 12,000, just under 12,000 there. Just wondered if you were there. It's always a bit hard at Leeds if you weren't mob-handed. It was bad enough when you were mob-handed, but when there wasn't many of you, it was quite difficult. But if we took 7,000 or 8,000 that day, we perhaps would have took there. We could have perhaps gone in there and couldn't we? But say there you go. Yeah, so sadly we didn't get that route to Wembley either, unfortunately. We did manage 5th in the division, which is all right. It was very creditable, wasn't it? We did manage 5th in the first division. So, yeah, the defeat, yeah, it was a giant killing. As I said, it doesn't matter what division City you're in. We were always classed as giants. It's funny that, isn't it, for a small club? It's certainly not the biggest giant, not the biggest disappointment we've had or beating we've had from a lower league team as such. But it was still very, very humiliating. And very disappointing. I think it's not just humiliation for City fans at that time. It's just, we got those little false stones, didn't we? As I said, we got to the 5th round and we thought, hey, we've got a chance here. And then you get a 5th round draw that takes you to a second division club. You think, we should be all right here. A bit of luck in the quarterfinals. We can get to a even the semi-final would have been nice. We even like, to go to a neutral ground and play a semi-final is something fantastic. As you know, if you'd been in 81 for the Ipswich semi-final, that was great in itself. It's great to win it and get through to the final, of course, but we didn't ask for much in those days. We didn't expect trophy after trophy, just a good cup run. And again, the games like that were just disappointing rather than humiliating. They were humiliating, of course. If you made the trip there and you got humiliated, obviously, at the ground watching that. But hey, we rise above it, don't we? We're City fans. We were used to it then. Obviously, we've been a little bit spoiled, haven't we? But yeah, but thanks for joining me anyway, and certainly. Let me know if you did make the trip, what you thought, any special memories for that day, because obviously it's fantastic. Anyway, thanks for joining for this horrible history game, Notts County, obviously, in the FA Cup, 1991. 16th of February. Yeah, as you saw all the snow around the pitch. So yeah, it was almost on the verge of, I'm not sure I'm sure it got played first time, but I think it was almost called off a couple of times. The weather was terrible that month of February 1991. And obviously they weren't the greatest pitches, were they? Anyway, thanks for joining me for this horrible histories. Hope you enjoyed that. Please, what we're going to do the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Until we meet again here on the Citizen channel. Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.